Hey everybody, Rob Satch from Feedbackwrench. How can you increase your conversions and sales on your website? That's the question we're going to be answering here. It's pointless to get lots of traffic and to improve your SEO and spend money on advertising if your website doesn't actually convert. This article is going to teach you, and this video is going to teach you how to craft messaging in order to move people from visitors to being actual customers and getting sales. So while there's a number of technical things that you'll want to do in order to keep people actually converting and moving through your website and increase your conversion rate, whether it's in Google Analytics or Google Ads, the number one thing to do is to work on the messaging and the steps that people should be moved through in order to go through the process of going from stranger all the way to a delighted customer. That would be the ultimate goal, right? Real conversion rate optimization starts with messaging that moves people from skeptic to trust. That's not to say that there's not a number of technical things that you want to do. Everything from using pop-ups properly to making sure that you've got good meta titles, meta descriptions, hooking up your conversion events and goals in Google Analytics, setting up conversion tracking using Google Tag Manager. There's a bunch of things you'll want to do for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google to actually measure your conversions, but it starts with words, because words will actually pick the mind or pick the lock of the mind of people. This is all really from Donald Miller's book called Marketing Made Simple and then Story Brand. But I'm telling you this, check that book out. We'll have the link in the description. I think I'll earn $1 if you buy it type of deal. Get it from Audible. That's much better. But before we get to the stuff listed above, all those technical things in the next article, we got to work on unlocking the minds and hearts of people. And that starts with words. That really starts with messaging. Real conversion rate optimization is about unlocking the minds and hearts of people on your website. That might sound corny, but it is true. You want sales, and you'll need to move people through the stages of total ignorance all the way to trusting you and believing that you're the solution that's most worth it, right? That's a big deal. It's really about moving people, and that movement is actually relational in its nature. You want people to trust and to choose you, right? And I think that the first step in conversion optimization is about identifying messaging and clarifying the stages that people are going to go through. If you change your thinking while you're building your website, this is going to help. And these 3 stages, I think, are spot on. I've seen them in a lot of different ways through HubSpot and whatnot. But moving people is just like a relationship. It's no different than when I first met my wife. Moving a person from being a stranger to becoming a customer and hopefully a fan of your organization is a relational proposition. You need to think of it that way. It is relational. Think of all the ways that a relationship goes bad or a first impression. I was going to put in videos here. Just go to first date cringe moments on YouTube and you will see all of the different analogies of how to make a date or a relationship go poorly. And just like meeting or dating and eventually marrying somebody, there's a healthy pace for these relationships. Healthy pacing matters greatly in a relationship. You can't move too fast or too slow, or you'll be a cringy weirdo that sets all the psychological alarms off in a healthy person. That's what's going to happen if you do this. People go, ooh, I better get away from this company, just like they'd say, ooh, I don't want a next date with you. Healthy people don't move too fast into any relationship. They calmly let things mature at a good pace. And the sales funnel is what we've developed, and I use from Donald Miller's book. You start with a one-liner, move to a website, lead generator, nurture campaign, and a sales campaign to move people through this. But the 3 steps of a relationship are really curiosity, enlightenment, and commitment. We're going to dive into this a little bit more. So let's just hit on curiosity. Stage 1 is curiosity, and this is the snap, judgment, and the hook. Snap judgments allow us to move about our day. Like, think about how many snap judgments you make. I drive from here to Walmart and I see 500 signs. I'm given so many opportunities. We intake thousands of marketing messages such as TV ads, website banners, roadside billboards, Facebook ads, print media. My mailbox is filled with garbage still. It's kind of weird. YouTube, I get something every time I watch something. We face thousands of marketing messages, right? So we've all built a pretty sophisticated filter, right? Now, what we want to do is we want to pique their curiosity about how we can help them thrive or survive. That's what we want to do. We want to define the differentiators. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to develop what's called a one-liner. Okay, so bear with me here. We have these 3 stages. The first one is the most important because you're going to pique their curiosity about how you help them thrive or survive. That's the curiosity. You should be loaded with a bunch of questions. For the accountants, I talk about asking people if they're an S Corp or if they've looked at how they should do that, and be ready with a whole bunch of questions that pique their curiosity on how to save them money. But here, the one-liner statement described below that we're going to get to is the most practical way to pique the curiosity of someone. And you want to put that together for your business. But before you do that, you need to spend a significant amount of time crafting concise and precise statements of the most important problems that your potential customers actually face. You got to define the problems. Many business owners neglect the amount of time and effort that they put into defining what's truly valuable for their customers and what gets in the way of them receiving that. You need to spend time on this. Do not go about your day being so busy in your business that you never work on your business. And developing a one-liner is probably the best thing you can do. Computers are simple and more transactional. That's what I had done at Best Buy. I had sold computers. But then you can dive into like a professional service or a home service or a construction business. You know, you could think about what are the problems that you need to identify here when you're crafting your one-liner. You know, what's the impact of underspending? What causes an experience to go wrong? What kind of consequences are there down the road if you make certain choices? What does a bad, good, better, and best company tend to do when they operate in your sector, right? What's the difference between a design build and a cheap carpenter remodeler? What's the difference between somebody who just pumps out quotes and is good at estimating and somebody who's great at design and listening to lifestyle and designing and putting together a plan, for example, in remodeling that will be exactly what you end at, right? Budget-wise and result-wise. You need to spend lots of time and effort to clearly define the 1 to 5 core problems or differentiators and choose the one primary, all-encompassing problem that you're going to make into your value proposition and into this one-liner. We want to pique the curiosity with a hook in order to get past these people's sophisticated filter, right? And a sentence on your website is going to be doing that. We filter out all the nonsense and we hold on to what's important. People are never curious about you. I got a little typo in there. They're curious about how you make their life better. People are not curious about your story. They don't care. It's all about the hook. That's what this is about here. The hook is about them and their problem, not about you and your company and your story. Your messaging shouldn't be about you because you don't. Clear, concise headers and descriptions should, at one glance, connect your product and your service to an important solution that makes their life better. Is there something to gain from getting to know you, is what they're wondering. Can you solve a problem or help them thrive or survive? How do you make their life better? Clear and concise opening headers and short messages are how you pique someone's curiosity in the most easiest sense. And the one-liner sentence that we're going to be working here is how you pique their curiosity. A one-liner is a concise statement to clearly explain what you offer. A one-liner is a concise statement that clearly, very concisely, embodies everything. It is clear rather than complete. I talked about that in one of my other videos. This is a short and concise statement to pique the curiosity so that they will want to know more about how you can make their life better, right? It's not a long statement and it's not about you. You got to keep that in mind as you craft this. It's about how you enhance their life or solve their problem. What we want to do is pass the caveman grunt test. The goal of the one-liner is that if someone reads this clear and concise statement, a caveman or like a lower IQ individual would be able to easily grunt the core tenets of who, what, the impact, and what's next. Who you are, what you do, and how it impacts them, and what they need to do business with you. That's what you want them to. Feedbackwrench, website, make sale, book now, right? Just very simple. I call it Feedbackwrench, so they make website and make more sales. Just very simple. The three pieces to a one-liner statement to get people to actually pass this grunt test are the problem statement, the solution statement, and the result statement. So problem, solution, result. So let's start with, when we're putting together this one-liner, we need to put these three pieces together. What's the problem statement? This is the number one thing. You have to hook them with this. What's the pain point that you help customers resolve? Here, you're going to identify your customer and the major problem that you help them eliminate, right? You should work to identify those core problems, like I talked about before, in your target customer too, and whittle it down to a clear sentence. Always state the problem first because it's the hook. Starting with the problem also connects you as the solution to the problem, which adds perceived value. If hey, I have a headache. Do you want an Advil? Like, that's a perfect example that Donald Miller uses. So things to keep in mind here. It's a clear and concise statement, and it states the actual problem you're going to go after. B, it's the hook to get them curious. Don't talk about every problem. You have to pick the one strongest problem that will really hook their curiosity. Only bring up a problem that you can realistically solve. Don't go on and on about things that you're not going to. Also, don't bring up a problem that you're not going to resolve in this sentence either. You want continuity through everything. You want to differentiate between you and your competition if your industry is crowded. This is a huge way where you can talk about a typical firm or another solution, right? So here's some examples. These aren't perfect, but these are some examples. When people remodel, they often have surprises and regrets because their contractor lacks a rigorous design and planning method. That would be for like a design, build, remodeler rather than a carpenter, right? They want people to see that if you don't have a great design and planning method, you're going to have surprises and regrets. So business owners lose out on market share and easy sales because of sideways energy in their marketing. Business owners lose out on market share and easy sales because of the sideways energy in their marketing, right? They get Cousin Timmy all excited about Facebook posting. It makes them no money. Google ads make you money. Contractors waste time, money, and labor waiting for parts and service when machinery goes down. Contractors waste time, they waste money, and people are sitting around. Their labor is sitting around when they're waiting for parts and service when machinery goes down. That one's for Ziegler, the cat dealer here. They have giant market share. Shame from your messy house keeps you from having friends and family over. Or don't waste your nights and weekends cleaning your house. That would be for a house cleaning or a maid service. Dumb and disorganized customer data leads to wasted employee time and missed opportunities. I use the word dumb just because this is an example, but that could be for a CRM. Dumb and disorganized customer data leads to wasted employee time and missed opportunities, or just disorganized customer data. That'd be for like a CRM, like ActiveCampaign or HubSpot. So that's all for the problem statement. You're going to hook them with the problem. They can go, yep, I have that problem. Now we're going to get to the solution part of the one-liner. So what's your what's your unique solution to that pain point? Now take this pain point away requires your solution. That's what we want them thinking, right? When you do this, make sure that you differentiate yourself. The first statement opens the story loop, building subtle anticipation, and now this is going to be the reveal. Do not fail to connect yourself as the solution. And in this, you want to avoid being too wordy, and brevity is definitely king. Wordiness opens too many story loops, so you want to avoid that. And cute and clever language is almost always the enemy of clarity. Clarity sells. Cute and clever and complete just confuses people and makes it easy to forget is really what happens there. The product itself might actually be the solution. So some things to consider. Keep it simple. Avoid using insider language. That's a big one. Use your name and avoid using insider language is huge. Everything from firearms. I've been shopping for firearms lately to God, they're all over the place. You get into these industries, nobody talks a normal language. I was just buying a network attached storage and everybody uses this insider language. I can't understand what's going on and they don't create a doable path. It's just annoying. But to be cohesive and you got to close the loop that you opened before. So this solution needs to close that loop, not a different story loop, right? So make sure that the problem you stated is now all aligned through this whole thing. Don't try to explain everything. You got to keep it short and clear, right? So here's some examples. New Space's methodical design build process does XYZ. Ziegler, the cat dealer, superior service fleet, and near perfect parts availability eliminates downtime and improves efficiency. Feedbackwrench websites and advertising synergy will dominate your market share and fill your sales funnel. Tidy Touch maid service means you come home to a clean home that you can be proud of. Tidy Touch House Cleaning makes you feel good about your home after a busy day of work. Busy day or week, whatever, right? You can come home and feel good about your home. That's what you really want. You don't have to waste your nights and weekends. You can spend time with your kids and family. That's what really happens in their life, right? The reward or the result is the third part here, right? So what does your customer's life look like after the pain is resolved? You want to say which results in. So here you want to describe the actual transformation that's happening or the life change that's going to occur. This is the climactic scene or the obligatory event that resolves all the conflict. You'll be releasing all the built up tension in this part, which results in improved efficiency, more excitement, whatever it is. To get to the end result your customer will experience is what we're bringing up here. So here's some things to consider. You want to stay cohesive. Success should be about your customer, not about you. You got to make them understand lifestyle. What's their life going to look like when they're done doing business with you? Don't dilute it with a ton of commas or hitting out too many successes. And then last, don't overpromise. You want to make sure that you make a promise that you'll actually complete and do, right? So clearly explain how your customers will feel when they get the solution or what they get after you solve their problem is what we're working for here. So when you clarify your messaging, this is what Donald Miller gives, because Donald Miller wrote the book that's teaching me, that teaches you, but teaches us all how to clarify your messaging, right? So he says, when you clarify your message, words start to spread about your company and your business grows, right? That's what you're looking for. So just remember the one-liner is very important. Going to that one-liner means going through the 3 sections. You're going to pique their curiosity, try and get them to pass the grunt test. You've got the problem, the solution, and the result. And from there, we want to talk about how else do you pique their curiosity. It's through headers and ads, right? So clarity trumps everything. First impressions happen in the blink of an eye, so that you got to be clear. Really, in the first 5 seconds, people need to be able to say what you do, who you do it for, and what do they need to do, right? Keep things brutally simple. When you get to a website, you should know exactly what's going on in the first 10 seconds, right? Now, the second stage, so that's all curiosity, piquing their curiosity, remembering this is a relational thing. The second stage is enlightenment. And here's where you start to build trust. Because after you pique their interest about how you make their life better, they'll be wondering, but how do you do that, right? Enlightenment is where you start earning some credibility by showing how your products work to solve their problems and how it works. What tools does this company, my company, have that'll help them in their day-to-day? After you've grabbed their attention, you want to start unboxing how you work to accomplish this transformation, right? It's important that you don't start explaining how your product or service works. You need to talk about how it works to accomplish and get the result. That's important to remember here. Customers won't move into a fog. Being confused is a sad state, and the brain actually has fear or resistance if it doesn't understand where it's headed. People move towards clarity and understanding. They always move away from confusion. If they're confused at all, they're going to be hesitant, scared, and they're not going to want to do it. So you want to enlighten them to how you solve their problems and how you help them survive. There's a bunch of different things here. PDF, downloadable PDFs, videos, teaching them more and more about this. We're going to position yourself as a guide. So you're going to provide more resources that show them how you work to make that result actually occur. So it could be longer form writing, copywriting, or whatever. But the last thing is commitment. Now, I'll just jump to the very end here and say that commitment should only come after they're ready. And Donald Miller talks about 8 touch points through email will help build enough trust to actually close somebody. Here's the bottom line. The 2 reasons why people don't say yes and actually buy something or move forward is because nobody asks for the sale, or they ask for the sale too early. You don't want to push the sale too fast. You want them ready to actually close. And I tell you what, by understanding the stages that they need to go through, you're going to have success. It's really helpful to think in terms of like a healthy marriage relationship, right? You shouldn't move too fast, but you can't sit on your hands and never make the move, or the girl will go towards somebody else. In sales, if you push to sign somebody up too soon, you'll burn up the equity that you built, and you'll probably have to start over, and you'll lose the sale for some time. They might come back, but a lot of times you just burn up that equity, right? Or that trust that you've built. And on the other hand, you always have to have off-ramps. You need to be asking for the sale, but you don't want to be pushy, and you don't want to do it too much. Too pushy means that customers feel threatened and they'll move away. Too slow means that you can't really solve their problems and they're going to move on to somebody else. He says that 8 touch points. Really, this comes down to a nurturing email funnel. So you want to have a funnel that shows them how you're the guide, shows them how you're going to work to actually accomplish this. And email, we prefer HubSpot or ActiveCampaign, but to have a funnel that moves people towards this is what's going to actually make it work. So I tell you what, folks, if you're looking to get your website set up and your marketing and your Google ads, if you don't start with this messaging, it's all for nothing. Traffic means nothing unless you're going to close, and there's a lot that goes into a good campaign or a good landing page or good website or a good system to get sales. I'm Rob from Feedbackwrench. Good luck, God bless, and we'll see you later.